Hey guys, I'm back at the fish pond. Cody, stop. Dogs are trying to tussle. And I threw a little bit of feed in so you get to see the fish. They're getting big. They're coming really close. They'll come within 6 inches of my hand now. I'm not sure I want to get them tame enough to hand feed them. We'll see. Time will tell. Right now the heat's setting in here in Florida and I'm only out here in the morning. And it's just too hot to be outside. But we're doing really good with the fish. We have, I don't know if you can see that, but the pickerel, which is the tall flowers, the tall spade-shaped leaves, have purple flowers on them right now. And to me, that's a huge... Ginger, stop. My dogs want to play. It's that time of the day. I don't know if you can see that. Try and get you a good shot. There you go. That's the pickerel flower. And I got quite a few of them, if you can see them. And one of my other updates for the pond is a friend of mine, Susie, gifted me water lotus. I don't know if you can see in that container, but the water lotus, I've got them sprouted. I had 20 seeds that were sent of water lotus, and I followed the online instructions, which was to open the seed. So I sanded the seeds till there was an opening. Then I soaked them in water, and I changed the water every day. And I went from just a bowl to this big container. And as you can see, the water line is up here. The water line is up there. So a lot of these water lotus is getting to the point where when I change the water today, I'll have to fill up the container. But that's good. The taller they get, when I go to plant them in a dish and put them in the pool, they will be able to be sitting down on the swim seat, which is where the pickerel sits. And from there, they can start spreading. And I'm going to keep them up close to the pool edge here so the fish don't nibble at them till they get old enough to handle a little bit of that. But everything's doing great. My water chestnuts are doing really, really good. That's my test float for edibles. My let's go walk around here. Okay. Water chestnuts, as you can see, has gone crazy. Let's hope I don't drop the camera. I'm going to get you an up close. I'm in the pool now. But look at the growth on those. Wow. The stems are getting real heavy. So they are doing really fantastic. I got a dragonfly buzzing me here. But I got 2 trays of them floating as an experiment, and they are thriving. They're doing very, very good, so I'm real happy with the results so far. So, and then one of my trays here, again, another experiment, we have the elephant ears. I don't think they'll get huge in this situation, but this is my cattail. I was able to pull a couple from a pond. Easier said than done. I don't recommend trying it unless you have some shovels and some muscles, because it was hard. And that one's doing really good. I thought I had a second one somewhere, but I lost track of it. So I'm not sure where that got to. The plants on the floater are just doing so-so, and I'm not sure why. So I'm not real excited with this big floater, but it shades out some of the pool / pond so that we don't have as much algae growth. I don't know why my hose is in there. There we go. We don't put the hose in unless we got something we're draining. But my water lotus, not lotus, oh, I can't even think of the name this morning. The water lettuce seems to be okay. And if you look down in the water, you can see some major, major roots down there. The water hyacinths, I think the fish ate most of them. The big ones are all gone. So I'm thinking my fish are eating them. So next time I find an invasion somewhere of them, which down here they're very invasive, I'm going to bring a whole lot more home if I can get my hands on them. That's free fish food. The resource I was using for my duckweed for fish food has not been available to me lately. I just haven't been able to get over there. So I've resorted to the pond food for now until we can get out to the lake and get a couple buckets full of stuff to keep going here. I have not been able to propagate the duckweed fast enough to feed these fish. So I might need a kiddie pool or two to be doing that effectively for this amount of fish. I'm not really sure. Again, it's all learning curve. My solar pump looks like somebody's knocked it out of the pool, which will probably be my granddaughter. And that's supposed to be like a little aeration if it's needed, which we don't know that it is. Let's see if I can get, there we go. There we go. It's hard to see the camera because it is really bright out here this morning. But there we go. You can see there's a little school of minnows right there. Those guys are getting big and fat. They're having babies. There's a bunch of minnows in the pond. And they're really, if you can see them right there at those plants, they're hanging out right there. Now, where I am at the pool, right below me are the koi. So they're definitely not running to the other side of the pool. They keep checking out, are you going to throw me any more food? Let's give them another. See what they do. They can't be that hungry anymore, but there they are. If you watch that, the tilapia are eating as well. They eat, they're a little more attack and grab kind of eaters from what I'm seeing. It could be because they're competing with the koi. I had one of my subscribers laughing because I call them koi. I don't know. It's a koi. Koi. I don't know. They're fish. I don't mind everybody picking on me a little bit. It's just fun to have the fish. They're beautiful. I do spend time out here relaxing and watching them. So if you have a pool that's sitting useless and not being used, think about converting it into a food source, or even just something like the koi. See, I can't figure that one out. Anyway, put some decorative fish in it if you just want to have a place to sit and relax. Add minnows so you don't have mosquitoes. The minnows were one of the first things to go in for mosquitoes. I did have a bullfrog invasion, but I can tell you I hauled one away to about less than a mile from here to our church pond, and they're all swimming together. The tilapia and the koi actually swim together, which is really nice because I was told that the tilapia would be attacking the koi, and they do not. They're actually real happy to be together in here. But anyway, I came home after dumping the bullfrog in the pond, thinking, oh, he can get all the girlfriends he wants out there. Got home, sat down. 15 minutes later, there's another bullfrog croaking in my pond. Well, I tried different ways of catching him, and he jumped literally almost into my arms at one point, and I sat on the porch and just laughed my butt off. But at some point, I think he ran out of food because he's moved out. And he was hanging out right in that little swim seat area, so I always knew where he was, but I was not able to catch him. Now I hear him croaking from that direction, so I think he's down into the creek now, which is really where he belongs, and he's got more food sources down by the flowing water. So I'm hoping he's going to find a wife and keep moving away from my house, because he was keeping me awake at night. I have horrible insomnia, so if something wakes me up, I don't go back to sleep. But this is the pond update for now. The minnows are finishing off what the larger fish haven't. And as you can see, there's still some fish coming up to eat. There's still a lot of movement, so they are still feeding. They just slow down. When they start getting full, they slow down. But I got a lot of little things in here that will eat up the excess food this morning. I usually only put just enough in for the big fish, but the little fish seem to be enjoying it too. Alright guys, this is my update on the pond. And by the way, there's no odor. We have no filtration going. And there's no odor here. There's no real mosquito problems. I mean, we're in Florida, we're going to have mosquitoes. My porch, as you can see, is not screened in any longer. because we just can't afford to maintain it and keep it going for now. So mosquitoes do come in, but not to the volume you would expect for having a pond. And I believe the success for that is these little minnows are eating the larvae before they can develop and swim out or fly out, which would be a mosquito. But my hope is to, at some point, see tree frogs back, which I believe the bullfrogs ate all my tree frogs that got near the pond. And tree frogs will lay their eggs in the pond to hatch them. So I have not seen any of that this year. And I also believe the bullfrogs were eating all my lizards, because we have the little anole lizards here. And I have very few. Normally the porch is full of them, and I actually enjoy them. And they're good for insects. So I think my bullfrog, while he lived here, pretty much cleaned me out of both. So, and that's kind of sad, but they'll come back as long as he doesn't come back. And we did put some barriers up along there. I'm not sure if he can get past it or not, but we're hoping he can't, and I hope he stays away. As cute as they are, they're very noisy. And I hear they have huge appetites, and I just don't think this pond can sustain a bullfrog for very long. Alright guys, that's my update, and if we see anything more happening, I'll keep you posted on the water chestnuts, because that's an edible. And as we add things to the pond, like the water lotus and stuff, I'll bring you along for that ad as well. That's going to be interesting to see how that all pans out with water lotus. And that's going to be like the big lily pads with flowers and stuff. So, we'll see how it goes. It's all an experiment. And I'm definitely not an expert. And the way I learned this was from other YouTube videos on converting a pool to a pond. And they did exactly what I did. They turned the filter off. They let the algae build. They started adding plants and fish, and from there all the other wildlife started coming around more and more. So it's just something, you know, if you have a pool, you can't afford to run the filter, this is a great option to have to produce food. I'm growing tilapia. I had a gentleman tell me I could have up to 500 pounds of tilapia next year. That's a lot of fish to eat. So keep in mind, don't let things like an empty pool go to waste. Even if you only let the deep end, my deep end is in the middle. Even if you only let enough water in your deep end, you can still have a pond. So give it some thought. And I think there's a YouTube channel called The Garden Pool. And it's a guy out in Arizona, I believe, and he actually covered his pool because it was an old pool like mine. It would need a lot of work, and from there he decided to turn it into an aquaponics grow house. And his pond with tilapia feeds all his plants, because he's got like rain gutters around his pool, and everything feeds, the pond water goes up, feeds that, goes all the way through his system, and then comes back into the pond as filtered water. That is an amazing setup, and it's definitely something to be looking into. There's so many things you can do with an old swimming pool. And like I said, if things change here, I'll bring you along for the ride. I hope you all enjoy this video. Don't forget to share and like, and have a blessed day.